Hello. Some people wake up every morning and feel like they've missed something, like they belong to another time, another world. This feeling, it settles over me again tonight. And I know it's not just me who feels this. Tonight, I've been a little quiet. We're all a bit lonely, aren't we? With our own thoughts, our own whispers. But some nights, this loneliness merges with a completely different feeling about time. Sometimes you just feel like you were born in the wrong place, the wrong time. Like your soul, your heart, missed its rightful time period. I don't know, maybe you experience this strange feeling too.
This isn't just a simple longing for old memories, perhaps. It's something far deeper. It's like there's a restless soul within me, suffocated by the sounds and lights of this era. Maybe you're like me, this noise, this speed, this constant need to stare at screens. It's just not for you. Maybe your soul feels more at home in the quiet crackle of old vinyl, the warmth of ink-scented handwritten letters, or the stillness of starry nights untouched by city lights, as if a moment you've never lived whispers through you somehow, telling you it belongs to you. This deep, this indefinable longing, who knows how many nights it's been a silent guest at my door. And tonight, in the dim light of this room, I wanted to share these whispers with you. Maybe you feel the same emptiness, or maybe you just want to listen with me in silence.
It's hard to put this feeling into words, you know? It's like a melody constantly playing in a corner of your mind, as if you landed at the wrong stop with a time machine, and you just want to say, I don't belong here. Sometimes it happens when I listen to an old jazz piece, inhaling that muffled, smoky atmosphere. Sometimes in a black and white movie scene, watching those graceful gestures, those deep glances. Or sometimes just looking out the window, listening to the rain, flipping through the pages of an old notebook. That's when a whisper rises from somewhere deep inside me, saying, my era isn't this one. It's strange, isn't it? To long so deeply for something you've never lived, never touched. As if there's another you somewhere in the past waiting to meet you. For me, for instance, I sometimes feel closer to the daring spirit of the 20s, to the silence of a Victorian library filled with the scent of old books, or to the rebellious free soul of the 70s, or even the naive pre-internet era of the 90s. Every era seems to have its own calling. What about you? Which era calls to you?
So, why do we feel this way? I've thought about it for a long time. To myself, maybe you crave meaning in a world that rewards speed. You look for soul in things designed for profit. You miss a time you've never lived, but your heart remembers it. There could be a few reasons behind this time imbalance. Firstly, yes, romanticizing the past. Movies, books, series, they often present us with a polished, censored version of the past. We tend to overlook the wars, the poverty, the diseases, the inequalities of those times, and only see the beautiful costumes, the elegant dances, or the heroic stories. Yet we know that every era had its own darkness. But still, we don't want to drop that romantic curtain, do we? Perhaps that perfect past offers a wonderful refuge from the chaos of today. Let's admit it, sometimes reality is just heavy. Secondly, an escape from the present. The pace of this era, a constant rush, a frenzy of consumption, the endless noise of the digital world, the perfectionism imposed by social media, the constant feeling of missing out. Sometimes one just wants to slow down, breathe, find meaning in simple things. And at that moment, the past seems like a calmer, more human haven to our eyes. Or perhaps less complicated. Who knows? Maybe once upon a time, everything wasn't so fast and digital. People touched each other more, talked more face to face. Even that thought warms my soul.
Thirdly, a clash of values. Our own inner values. For example, I love living slowly, touching handmade things, being close to nature. Perhaps that's why I have a special fondness for old handcrafted items. But the modern world constantly pushes us towards the new, the fast, the consumable. Everything must be instantly and easily accessible. This creates a conflict within me. It feels as if those older, more honest values resonate more deeply with me. Sometimes I wonder if I would have felt better in an era where creating things was more valued, where patience and effort were more appreciated. Fourthly, a search for belonging. Perhaps what we're looking for is a community, a philosophy we belong to. Sometimes it feels like people were more together, shared more in the past. To be part of a certain artistic movement, a political movement, or simply a neighborhood culture. If we feel lonely in this era, that past togetherness might seem more appealing. Perhaps what we're searching for is that lost connection, those deeper relationships. It's like we're searching for a time twin, just like we search for a soulmate. And finally, simply curiosity and a search for depth. That inherent human question of, what if? That admiration for the unknown. To be curious about an era we haven't lived, its spirit. This feeling of not fitting into this era perhaps pushes us to think deeper, to read more, to search for deeper meanings. Sometimes I feel like a missing piece of a puzzle. That piece seems to have been left in another box, in another era, and I'm exploring the dusty pages of time to find that piece. So what do we do with this feeling? Do we ignore it, or do we embrace it and learn something from it? I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I've realized that living with this feeling isn't a curse. It can be a gift. The important thing is how we use it, without letting it pull us away from the present moment.
This feeling of befriending, or rather learning to live with it, I found my own ways. Maybe you'll listen to these whispers too. You know, sometimes I started to research the era I love so much, not just in my dreams, but more deeply. I didn't just settle for what the movies told me. I read its true history, watched its documentaries, found and read the letters, the diaries of people from that time. This allows me to see behind that romantic curtain. Facing its reality helps me place that feeling in a healthier context. And in fact, it helps me see that every era is a whole, with its own beauties and its own challenges, like a multi-layered painting. Then I realized that I could bring the spirit of that era into today. This is one of my favorite parts. I listen to the music from that period, watch those films, read those books. Sometimes I acquire a small vintage clothing item, adding things to my wardrobe inspired by old times. I place small objects in my home that reflect the spirit of that era, like getting an old typewriter or a record player, just like me. These are my ways of bringing the spirit of that time into today. It's like building a bridge across time within your own inner world.
And the most beautiful part of it all is taking that inspiration and creating something of my own. Writing a story, painting a picture, creating something with my own hands. Producing my own art inspired by the aesthetics or philosophy of that era. Writing old-fashioned letters, making a notebook by hand. This both nurtures my love for that era and allows me to create something that belongs to me. It's like the me from that era meets the me of today shaking hands. And in that moment, time loses its meaning. Of course, I've also realized that I'm not alone in experiencing this feeling. On social media and forums, I've met so many people with similar interests. Talking to them, understanding that I'm not alone feels so good. This loneliness, it's actually like a shared connection. Perhaps we are souls who meet somewhere outside of time, forming our own small community. Sharing this feeling lightens its burden of loneliness.
While all this is happening, I try not to forget to appreciate the time I'm currently in. Every era has its own magic. Today's possibilities, its technology, today's people. Perhaps our era is the one where we can revive the spirit we long for. Perhaps we are the ambassadors carrying those old souls into this era. And actually, this feeling makes me special and thoughtful. It's not a curse, it's a gift. It teaches me to think deeper, to research more, to feel more. It's a part of what makes you you, and that is truly valuable. Maybe you weren't born in the wrong era. Instead, you were born to bring something from the past into the future. The important thing might not be to invent a time machine and go back to the past, which is impossible anyway. What truly matters, I believe, is to take that feeling, that longing, and bring it into today. To live out the beauty of that era in our own small world. To honor that spirit, and to let it enrich our inner world rather than pulling us away from the present. This feeling, even if it connects us to the past, can actually be a tool that makes the present moment more meaningful. It's a part of you, of me, of us. Thank you for sharing these thoughts with me tonight. I hope you too find peace in your soul's journey through time. So, which era would you have wanted to be born into, and why? Or maybe, do you experience this feeling too? Would you like to share your thoughts with me quietly in the comments? Take care. Good night.